Welcome to our video on properties of real numbers. We have a few things here that you need to note. We do have these listed in our book, Tools for Mastering Mathematics, but I want to encourage you to write these down in your notebook. One by one, I'm going to explain each of these properties. If you know these properties well, they will help big time. One of the set of problems that you'll see in our book, in the book, Understanding Mathematics from Counting to Calculus, is a question about things like, what is 4 plus 3? Well, 4 plus 3 is the same as 3 plus 4, 7, right? So they want you to use the cumulative law of addition to be mindful of the fact that it's there and ready for your use. And the other thing I want to talk about before I dive into these properties is that on a number line, you can move away from 0 or back in the negative direction from 0 based on what the thing is in the question. So for example, 3 plus 4, you start at 3 and you move 4 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. But if I asked you what is 4 minus 3, you would start at 4 and move to the left. 1, 2, 3. If you start at 2 and I say what is 2 minus 5, you start at 2 and you move to the left 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So notice that you can either move to the left when it's a negative, or you can move to the right when it's a positive, depending on what the question is. So use a number line to your advantage. That's something I want to encourage you to do. So let's talk about the properties of real numbers, and then we will go from there. So the additive identity property. Anything plus 0 is just the thing. We say a plus 0 is a. So 6 plus 0 would be 6. Anything plus 0 is just the number. The number plus 0 is the number. You might wonder, why are we doing that? You'll find out when you do things like completing the square. It's a nice thing to know. Number 2, the inverse property of addition. If you add, let's say a plus negative a, guess what? It's equal to 0. A thing plus its negative is 0. 10 plus negative 10 is 0, right? And then what about if I do the inverse property? Oh, sorry, 1 second. That's the inverse property of addition. What if I do the multiplicative identity property? If I multiply anything by 1, so 9 times 1, we could put a times or we could do a dot, is 9. Anything times 1 is just itself. That's called the multiplicative identity. Think of a mirror, identity. The inverse property of multiplication, anything times its reciprocal is 1. So 5 times 1 over 5 is 1. That's called the inverse property of multiplication. How about the cumulative property of addition and the cumulative property of multiplication? Here's what we need to note about that. Any numbers added together will equal the same if we move them around. Any numbers multiplying will equal the same if we move them around. 5 times 3 is the same as 3 times 5. 5 plus 3 is the same as 3 plus 5. You can move them around, right? 5 plus 3 is 8. 3 plus 5 is 8. So it's the same. 5 times 3 is 15. 3 times 5 is 15. It's the same. Associative property of addition. If we have 2 plus 3 plus 5, it's the same thing as 2 plus 3 plus 5. We've changed how they're associating, but the values are going to be the same. The same thing goes here. 2 times 3 times 5 is the same thing as 2 times 3 times 5. Sometimes it's just better to associate certain numbers in getting a problem done efficiently. That's part of why these rules exist. They will make your math way more efficient. The last property, now I'm giving you a summary here, but there's going to be a more detailed explanation in each of the modules in the pre-algebra course if you need to do a deeper dive. Email amosthemathguy@gmail.com if you have any challenges as you work through these problems. Distributive property. If you have a number outside, and I'm just going to use 2 letters, it's going to become 5 times A plus 5 times B. Or if it's like 5 into 10 plus 2, it'll be 5 times 10 plus 5 times 2, which will be 50 plus 10. Let me know if you have any questions along the way. Look forward to guiding you on your journey from counting to calculus. Take care and have a blessed day.